655-55 Jacksonville.
Put some respect on my name.
First and foremost, my numbers are better than 15, 16 or so guys that are currently in the Hall.
Here's the handoff to Taylor looking for cut back. He finds the room. Look at Fred go. He's across the 30. Look at him run. Fred's going. He's at the 50, the 40.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
20, 10, 5, touchdown. 80 yards. Fred Taylor.
Talking modern day guys at my position.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't
Go
gonna
right
say
on
it.
in.
And he's the handoff to Fred looking for the cutback. He's got room right to the 10. Fred's still there. He's at the 20. Fred's on the run to the 25 and the 30. He's going 40. Fred 50. Fred 40. Fred 30. Fred 25, 20.
Y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
You look at the guys that are in the Hall of Fame from a defensive standpoint. Ray Lewis, Derrick Brooks. Look at all these other guys. They're trying to put in the Hall of Fame.
Gerard on the give. Here's Taylor.
Put some respect.
Busting through. Fred Taylor making a cut. Taylor is gone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
These the same dudes that I murked every Sunday.
When my name come up, respect it. Stop playing with my name. I ain't
Go
gonna
right
say
on
it.
in.
But he knows he doesn't have a big play team, and Jacksonville does.
Draw play. Taylor skips 2 tackles. Right, and here we go.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flags. A 90-yard run.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Mike DeRocco, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. You're listening to Jaguars Today, first show of 2025. May it be so much better than 2024 from a Jacksonville Jaguar perspective. And
I never get tired of that cut, of that Fred Taylor run with he knows he doesn't have a big play team and Jacksonville does. And then the play starts, is like, here we go. Like that's so much fun. Can we get back to that even for a short time at some point? Like that kind of explosiveness somewhere. Certainly didn't have that this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, what happened to ETN's breakaway ability?
Yeah, we had it with BTJ. That's about it.
That's the one guy.
Yeah.
They get
Protect
one
at
a year.
all costs.
One guy a year, man. That's all they get.
Protect at all costs. Brian Thomas Jr. Good morning, D-Rock.
Howdy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
How are
you
you?
guys.
Can
And
you hear
everybody
me
out there.
with your noise-canceling headphones on, or did you put those on so I couldn't be heard?
Yes, I did that.
Wasn't sure how those worked.
Yeah,
there.
These were left in my bag for some reason, and I forgot the ones I normally bring, so we're using these.
So by noise canceling, obviously you hear what you're plugged into,
Right.
How's it any different than like a regular headphone?
Eliminates a lot of the background noise and stuff, especially on the airplane, which is what I got them for.
Okay,
so I can sleep better on.
You ever go to a gun range?
I have, yes.
You ever use those headsets?
Yes, it's sort of similar.
Isn't that crazy? How like you fire the gun and it basically muffles the gunshot. You can hear it like pop, pop, pop. But I could talk to you at a normal level and you hear me fine.
The technology is unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
I'm
electronics and the filter.
What decibels or whatever it's filtering. But it is like if you've never tried it, I'm like, well, they're just gonna make it so I can't hear anything, and which would make sense, right? I don't want to blow out my eardrums. But no, you can hear the person next to you talk to you
without like straining.
No, it's just like normal. And, but it blocks that, just mutes the gunshots down to almost nothing. So there you go. I don't spend a whole lot of time at the gun range, but I got enough to hit you if you're coming through my front door. Sure. Put it that way. Right? I'm just saying, don't come through my front door uninvited.
Right.
I'm not shooting everyone.
That's why you got a shotgun.
Got
not spread.
You don't need to aim very well. You're absolutely right. Oh. Dylan Denmark.
Happy New Year, Mike.
Happy New Year, Dylan Denmark. How are you?
No shotguns were shot at my house.
I led us right down the path of this, so my fault. We've retired the P word. DeRocco said, what P word? He thinks I'm going to bring it up now, Dylan.
No, I don't. I'm a little confused as to what's happening.
Dylan told him a P word that is not the P word we were referring to, so he said, don't refer to Dylan by this on the air. And D-Rock thinks I'm talking about it. Pockets. The P word is pockets. What P word did you think we were talking about, Michael DeRocco?
What I said. Pathetic.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I didn't know.
Hey.
I don't know. That's the only other word that came to mind.
All right. Wow. immediately came to mind for you as well for that. All right. Well, did everyone have a nice New Year's?
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
I didn't do anything.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Me either.
You know, it was 12:13 a.m. when my wife and I realized, we're like, oh, yeah, Happy New Year. 12:13.
Mm-hmm.
I kissed her at 12. It was 13 minutes late. Sorry. Try to give her a kiss at midnight every year to welcome in the year.
In bed at 10:30 on New Year's Eve.
Were you?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big New Year's Eve guy.
Apparently.
I'm just not a big go to bed early guy. I'm just surprised people go to bed that early, I guess.
Yeah, if I was tired, I don't know. I was tired. Some nights I go to bed at 10, sometimes 10:30,
That's
sometimes
fine.
11.
I do have a weird schedule, though. Like, I work till midnight a lot at the house, doing shows. So I'm up.
Yeah, so you can't just get off the radio and then just jump into bed.
Like, probably my average go to bed time is 2 a.m.
Oh,
Probably.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably it for me. 4.5 hours sleep, boom, you're good. A little nap the next day, maybe. Get a nice power nap in. You're set. My brain is mush.
All I read about is it's important to have a set bedtime and a set time where you wake up.
I do.
I'm like
2 a.m. to 6:30.
I do not.
Actually, I don't get up
not.
at 6:30. The alarm goes off at 6:30. I do take advantage of the old snooze button.
Oh.
It's more like 5 hours. 5 hours of sleep.
That's not bad.
I think
Supposed to get like minimum 6, though, right?
Well, you just said a set bedtime was the only important factor here. So I have a set bedtime, 2 a.m.
Well, it's supposed to be a set awake.
I'm kidding.
I don't know.
I'm kidding. I'm just trying to prove that I'm just going to be just as belligerent
Just
in
as difficult,
2025
yes.
as any other time in the
Nothing
past.
has changed.
Really, nothing has changed other than the page on the calendar has moved along. The Jaguars are still a very bad football team at 4-12. And they've got the Indianapolis Colts on the road.
We're also
this week.
a bad football team.
They are.
And one in even more disarray.
I mean, look, they've won more than the Jags, but they did lose head-to-head. They've won 3 more games than Jacksonville,
which is crazy when you think about it.
Well, it's crazy when you saw what happened this past week against the New York Giants, just naming their score on them practically, going up and down the field. You would think, based on that outcome and the fact that the Colts don't have that incentive going into Week 18, other than just to win a football game, which everyone should have to some degree. I'm not saying, we talk about that all the time. The tanking and draft aspect doesn't factor into the minds of the players and coaching staff. At least it shouldn't.
Right.
But with that, if they had been playing for something, if they had won that game, still alive technically, then I think you'd see a different performance out of the Colts.
Yeah, with all the stuff that's gone on the last week, too, that we've read about and seen about culture and guys missing or being late for meetings and all that stuff, and Anthony Richardson's situation. So, they're either going to be, I would expect them either to be really mad, really pissed off, and play like gangbusters, or to just kind of go through the motions at this point. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. I'm more towards the go through the motions aspect. I mean, if you can't show up when it does mean something, I don't know if you're going to rally to, division game, we got to show the Jaguars
against one of the worst teams in the league at home, right? That game was in Indy, correct?
I think it was in New York.
It was in New York?
Yeah.
Either way. Okay.
Drew Lock had statistically the best quarterback game that a Giants quarterback has ever had.
It's a good trivia question right there.
I mean, now you could go to Sims. Why can't I think of Phil Sims? Chris is so much more in my head these days.
Yeah.
His dad, Phil Sims, was nearly perfect in a Super Bowl.
One Super Bowl, yeah.
But it was like the overall numbers, like that number, the completion percentage number was nearly perfect. But in terms of yards and touchdowns produced and all that kind of stuff, many have called Drew Lock's performance the best in Giants history against this defense that Mac Jones is getting ready to rip apart. I use the Mac Jones GIF or GIF, whatever you're going with. I don't care. It's the new year. You do you. Today, our question of the day, congrats to Logan Cook and Ross Matisic for making the Pro Bowl, being named to the Pro Bowl. D-Rock, you're saying what Logan Cook had a $400,000 bonus in his contract for this?
From Joe Corey was listing out all the I think it was Joel Corey, listing out the guys that
he used to be an agent, right?
Spotrac, yeah, one of those two. It was either Joel Corey or Spotrac, one of those, Spot Rack, whatever the heck, however you pronounce it. We're listing out some of the bonuses that guys got for making the Pro Bowl that are in their contract, and he listed Logan Cook as $400K, which is
not insignificant.
Not at all. Not at all.
Right. Hey, Jags, thanks for giving me all the opportunities.
To be honest with you, this should be like his third or fourth trip to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, you say he has been outstanding, right? At what he does.
Yeah.
But like the guy in Kansas City last year, I think is the one who made it.
Yeah.
And if you looked at his numbers, it was like, oh, damn, he's pretty good too. You know what I mean? Like I think we see Logan Cook, and we have so few things, Tony, that we can go, this year we had Brian Thomas Jr., right? And he is the first alternate, by the way, for the Pro Bowl. Didn't make it in. Should have been in ahead of Zay Flowers and Jerry Jeudy very easily. And I'm not saying those guys had bad years, but Pro Bowl is basically like a statistical, at that position, a statistical achievement award. Jamar Chase, his team probably not going to make it in the postseason. Cincinnati needs to win. Denver and Miami would both have to lose. I mean, it's possible. It's not that far-fetched, but the likelihood is he won't. Nobody's disputing the fact that he deserves to be a Pro Bowler. I mean, Jerry Jeudy plays on Cleveland. Cleveland, despite beating Jacksonville, is worse than Jacksonville record-wise. So, as Tony pointed out, he had the big game on a primetime game against Denver. His old team, he went for over 200 yards. It's got to be it. I mean, you look at the total numbers side by side, Brian Thomas Jr. is better than both of those guys, particularly scoring touchdowns on a team that wasn't exactly explosive offensively this year for Jacksonville. So anyway, people are going to gravitate towards him, but we watch Logan Cook all the time. We have an appreciation for what he does, and part of it is because we're like, well, at least we got that, right? Like, it really is true. Like, if you're on a loaded team, you're not thinking about the punter. If you're on a team going to the playoffs, you're not thinking about the punter very often. For us, we've got to squint to find something really good.
Consistently at a high level over and over again, the best player on this team for multiple years.
Best at executing his job.
Doing exactly what they ask you to do.
Right.
At a consistently high level.
Still, you wouldn't trade a punter for
a
position
but that's the
player.
problem. That's been the problem. And it's not taking anything away from Logan Cook, but the problem is that he has been the best. And in some years, it's not even been close in terms of executing at a high level consistently at what he is supposed to do.
And, of course, Russ Matisic makes the Pro Bowl for a second consecutive year, right? So congrats to those guys. So we asked you today, your first Jaguars Today question of the day for 2025. Project ahead, which Jags make the Pro Bowl next year. We ask it every year. I don't know if we ask it during Pro Bowl week, Tony, or we ask it at this time, but we ask it every year. We got to come up with like 280 of these questions, right? So, or whatever number it works out to. So, yes, we repeat a few over time. But do you think Brian Thomas Jr. gets the credit? At least being a Pro Bowl alternate puts him on the brink. He's on the radar.
He'll probably end up there. I mean, not all those guys will play.
And a lot of times the votes have to be cast like early December, I want to say, something like that. And Brian Thomas Jr. has gotten progressively better because he's gotten progressively more targets. What is he running, like 5 straight games with double-digit targets right now? So had they utilized him more like that early in the season, maybe he would have gotten a little bit more Pro Bowl recognition. All he would have to do is get ahead of one more guy, apparently. But regardless, who do you think, in other words, you're projecting ahead, who will get it turned around for the Jags and have that kind of season? And the tough thing about it is you can be Pro Bowl worthy, as Brian Thomas Jr. was, and not get recognized playing in a small market. I do absolutely think that factors in here. I don't go, poor, small market team, whatever. But in this case, there's no question there's an effect. You play in a bigger market. You saw Cleveland, right? Cleveland's packing out their stadium on a snow-packed night against Pittsburgh when they're having a miserable season, right? They've got a fan base that's been around for decade upon decade upon decade upon decade, and they're diehards, and I don't doubt they do what Jaguar fans do that are so inclined. You just retweet the list of all the guys with the proper hashtag, and that counts as a Pro Bowl vote. I'm sure Cleveland is getting at the vote for Jerry Jeudy and everyone else.
Well, yeah, and Brian Thomas Jr. is having a season where in Jacksonville, we've been since week one going, when are they going to feature this guy? When are they going to feature this guy? Well, they're finally featuring the guy, and he's had a solid season. But if he had been featured all year, that's the only way a player in Jacksonville as a rookie is going to make a Pro Bowl, is if they're featured early all season. He's been having the kind of month that he's having. He's having a fantastic year. That's why he's 5th in the NFL in receiving yards. We know what kind of season that Brian Thomas Jr. has had despite not being featured as much as he could have been featured in this offense. But for a guy like that to make a Pro Bowl, he's got to be that all season long to have gotten the attention at some point early in the year and people going, wow. You know, like that's the kind of thing that has to happen for Brian Thomas Jr. We've had the wow moment for a while. The rest of the country hadn't had it yet.
Right. He's on the radar now, though.
Right.
You know, so anyway, going forward, he will certainly be, we hope, a factor in many Pro Bowls to come. But more importantly, let's hope he factors in a Super Bowl or two for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll hear from Doug Pederson and Mac Jones. They both spoke yesterday. Mike DeRocco is going to give us the latest. He's got his finger on the pulse of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he will give us the latest about what exactly is going down, including his thoughts, his feelings about what may or may not happen next week. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but we all can
tell you they know. They are not being truthful.
I've heard that from enough people that I agree. I don't know anybody who's got a direct source to Shad Khan. I don't. I mean, like, I imagine Tony Khan does. You know what I mean?
don't even know with that. I mean, who knows? Shad is so tight-lipped. Maybe he doesn't tell Tony anything.
I would think Tony knows what's up, but I don't think Tony's telling anybody. Let's put it that way. You know, so very few people you could have that are close enough to Shad Khan that would even be in position to know what his thinking is right now. But we'll see, and hopefully we won't have to wait very long to figure out one way or another where this franchise is headed. So if you want to get in today, first show of the new year, we would welcome your calls and will welcome your calls at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Also, the same number, 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat or on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at ESPN DeRocco, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
All right, we're ready to roll and talking Jaguar football with you for the next 2 hours. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You may have waited. You want to get through the holidays, man. I don't want to have to think about dropping pounds. Fine. You're here. You're past the holidays. It's a new year. You've done resolutions in the past. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. Well, here's something that works almost every single time. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, a 10-year company. They've just celebrated their 10th anniversary, and they've had over 23,000 clients, and they've got over a 98% satisfaction rating, including for myself, Matt Hayes, and Hacker, who've lost a bunch of weight combined. The backbone of the Awaken 180 program is free support and coaching for life. Hit your goal weight, and they're going to be there for you every step of the way to help you maintain that all throughout the new year and well beyond that as well. Drop the pounds. They're going to come off easy. There are no medications. There's no big exercise regimen required. All you have to do is follow the program, eat right, know when to eat, know what to eat, know how often to eat. That's Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Check them out online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Make Friday feel like the weekend.
We're wasting time.
That's why we give you Pre-Game Friday.
Let's do it. Come on.
We'll get you ready for the games. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL.
I'm with Craig from Cycles of Jacksonville. If I know anything about the fall, it's hunting season, it's cooler weather. People need to get off-road. What have you got to offer?
We've got the full line of Honda ATVs, the Foreman, the Rancher. We've got the side-by-sides, the Pioneers, the Talons, everything you need to get off-road.
And you can trick them out with all sorts of extras?
If you name it, you want the loud stereo, you want the cool light bar, we got it.
All right, look online, cyclesofjacksonville.com, or head to the showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower
Looking
Max.
for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
You're locked into Jaguars Today Thursday with Cannons of Jacksonville.
Hey, Hicken here with a message from Zero Res. Guess what? We love rugs. We'll treat your fine Oriental rugs with tender, loving care they deserve. How about Gerard, the Zero Res rug cleaning manager, one of the few certified master rug cleaners in the state of Florida? If you want your rugs cleaned with tender, loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, have one rug washed, and we'll wash a second rug free. That's right, buy one, the second one on me. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is Walker Little of your Jacksonville Jaguars for Kingfish Pest Control. I've been a Kingfish customer for a while now and can confirm that their service is incredible. Not only do they protect my family from pests, Kingfish's office staff is the friendliest around. They even email me a photo of the tech before arriving at my home. Kingfish Pest Control is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Be sure to enter their Swat That Kick sweepstakes for free pest control for 3 years. Go to kingfishpest.com and tell them Walker Little sent you.
Hicken here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. Okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mike DeRocco is powered by Lickety Split AC, Plumbing and Electric on 1010XL.
Yeah, that's a big thing to do in the NFL if you can stack some good practices and games and carry that momentum, wherever it may go. So we're definitely working for that.
At least that's what we've heard is a big thing in the NFL. That would be winning consecutive games. For this franchise,
Haven't done that since, week 10 and 11 last year?
Sure, I'll go with that. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Absolutely. That was Mac Jones weighing on what it would mean to finish a year with a pair of wins. Jeff Lagerman the other day said he thinks that Mac Jones can make himself millions of dollars with a good performance this week. What do you think his market is going to be like, guys, this offseason? Let's say he plays against the Colts the way he played against Tennessee, right? Not super high end, but fairly efficient in terms of completion percentage, and the Jags win the game, right? He has a couple of touchdowns, doesn't throw a pick. What do you think his market is? Like, what is the market for? Is it? I don't think he gets a starting job anywhere,
right?
But do you think there's a decent market for him as a backup quarterback? Would the Jags have competition if they are interested in bringing him back?
Yeah, I think Darnold and Baker having the resurgence that they've had probably is going to make other teams think like, maybe if we can get him in the right situation, maybe he can flourish a little bit and be average NFL starter if we need him for, some backup role. He'll get a chance to come in, but I don't think he's going to get a chance to be. I'd be surprised if a team signs him and says you can compete for the starting job.
And to be fair, look, Darnold wasn't necessarily just anointed the starter. There was talk, though, throughout the offseason that they may go with Darnold as long as they're competitive and let J.J. McCarthy come along more slowly. But they obviously drafted McCarthy to be the guy at some point. They probably anticipated, had he not gotten hurt, that it would be at some point this year. And then he just
would have been hard to bench Darnold.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
As it got going, you're absolutely right. But I think the plan was that at some point, if it wasn't going to be right off the bat, that McCarthy would be taking the reins this year.
Yeah, I think to some degree he's helped by a not great quarterback draft class this year and a not great quarterback free agency class this year, right? Like, I don't think there's a bunch of guys. I think Minnesota's going to have to figure out what they want to do with Darnold. Right? And Pittsburgh's going to have to figure out what they want to do with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and how that whole thing's going to play out. Right? So assume maybe one of those guys winds up hitting free agency. But if Darnold were to get re-signed in Minnesota, then whichever of those two winds up back in Pittsburgh and whichever one doesn't will be the hottest name on the free agent market between Wilson and Justin Fields, which tells you a lot about what you need to know about the free agent market at quarterback this year. I'm looking at the list right now. Jameis Winston is going to be available. Joe Flacco, Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Mason Rudolph, Mac Jones. Right? Like, it's not a highlighted list. So I think that there are a bunch of teams that are looking for quarterback help in an offseason where there's not a ton of quarterback help that's going to be available. And I think there is the potential in that for Mac Jones to get an opportunity to be a pretty high-paid backup quarterback with a chance to start somewhere.
But I think the thing working against him is the 5 quarterbacks that went in the first round last year.
Sure.
Right? So even if Darnold left under whatever circumstances, okay, and they're
not going to get
they roll with McCarthy.
Yeah.
They might get a backup. I mean, he's going to have a market as a backup, but you look at teams that are going to be looking for a starting quarterback. All right, let's go through it. AFC East, maybe the Jets, probably the Jets, right?
Jets.
It looks like Aaron Rodgers might retire, whether it's his own choice or not. Pittsburgh, maybe, but Russell Wilson could be that guy coming back. Cleveland, I mean, I think if I'm Cleveland and I have the chance and I like one of these quarterbacks at the top, I'm drafting him. Because Deshaun Watson ain't it. Whether you have to pay him or not, that doesn't mean you can't find the next guy right now, especially if he's on a rookie deal and just exhaust that. So that's a possibility, but I think they could go in the draft with that. Tennessee,
that's a bad situation.
Right, but is Mac Jones, are they going to look at Mac Jones as an answer, a significant upgrade over the 2 guys that have been playing this year?
Well, Mason's a free agent.
Right, but I'm saying, like, if he's your like, what's the market for Mason Rudolph? Probably not great, right?
No.
He'll probably sign a 1-year backup deal somewhere, right?
Sure.
So if you're Tennessee, devil you know versus the devil you don't, maybe they go with Mac Jones as a future, a former first-round pick. My point
Indy
being,
could be a sneaky spot because Joe Flacco
as a backup.
As a backup.
Oh,
Absolutely.
sure. Oh, yeah. There'll be a market for him as a backup, I think. Absolutely. But
you're talking about a team that could potentially bring him in and give him a chance to start.
How many teams are looking for their next guy? I think in Indianapolis, they're going to at least cross their fingers that Anthony Richardson stays healthy and give him one more year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that team is ready to say, we've got to find our next quarterback, that kind of thing. The whole NFC East, the Giants are there, but they may be in position to draft one.
Yeah.
You know, may not be. It depends, again, on how many teams they are behind in the ultimate draft order right now. I mean, Tennessee's sitting at 2. Is it impossible that Tennessee takes Shedeur Sanders? I don't think so.
No.
You know, or Cam Ward or whomever.
I would expect them to take a quarterback.
They already benched the guy that they drafted. I mean, they have publicly declared that they might be in the market to upgrade quarterback, right? Like, they've made that very public. So if they're in position to draft one at the top of the draft, yeah, why wouldn't they pull the trigger on something like that?
So you got Tennessee and Cleveland right now both ahead of the Giants. Of course, that would incentivize the Giants to trade up to number 1, which is nice. If you had the number 1 pick, you could probably get some extra picks out of that selection.
Is that how that works?
Sometimes it does. Anyway, let's hear a couple of thoughts from Doug Pederson on Mac Jones, and then we'll get more into the head coach's thoughts as the hour rolls along. What has Doug Pederson seen from Mac Jones, and is his play what he has hoped to see from the backup position?
You do. You know, obviously, he's not Trevor, so we can't ask him to be Trevor. We just want him to be Mac Jones, and so we'll tailor things, you know, to his liking and to his strengths. But you want him to come in and still run the offense, right? And he's been able to do that. And he's taking care of the football, you know, lately, which has been big. I think early in when he was playing, it was a couple you know, giveaways there. He's done a better job there. And I think just running the offense, just letting the guys around him work. And he's done a nice job there. And that's what you want from your backup. And he's exceeded that and done a good job.
It's nice to hear the coach kind of sort of compliment Trevor Lawrence for the first time in a long time.
Right. In a backhanded way, kind of.
Yeah, that kind of thing was not awful.
I assume that was complimentary, right? He's not Trevor Lawrence.
It wasn't what we've gotten used to.
I mean, he could say, well, he ain't Mike Dempsey. And, you know, that's not a compliment to Mike Dempsey in that
I
instance.
don't know, man. I've seen you on the golf course. There's some athleticism there. You might be faster.
Minor
You might be faster than Mac Jones.
I can get in and out of a bunker without falling down. That's about the peak of my athleticism.
And along the lines of the conversation we were just having here on the show, Coach was asked if he believes Mac Jones has the potential to be a starter again in the National Football League.
I mean, I know he would probably want that, you know, in his future to take over a team again and be the guy. You know, and that's what he was drafted to do. So I would assume, I don't want to speak for him, but I would say that's the case. And, you know, hopefully he's given an opportunity. See what happens, you know, over the course of obviously the next several months. But, you know, he's done some good things. And I think if teams are evaluating, you know, the quarterback position, he's definitely one that you would have to consider.
Well, that wasn't exactly a fully throated endorsement either, right? That if you're considering quarterbacks, he is a quarterback. So why wouldn't you consider him to be a quarterback, right? Now, that could be a coach that thinks, look, if I'm back, and we don't know, and, you know, I don't know what's the final dispensation on Doug Pederson, but if he's back, maybe you'd like Mac Jones back as the backup.
Yeah.
And he thinks, let me not talk him up too much. I don't know, you know, like, or is he just being very matter of fact and like, yeah, I guess he'd probably want that. And he is a quarterback. So
quarterbacks generally want to be starters if they can be.
They get
in the
paid
NFL.
more.
The text line bringing something up that just slipped my mind while we were talking about the quarterbacks that'll be available. Kirk Cousins will be available, right? That's all. I don't know that he'll be a hot commodity, but he will be available this offseason, so we'll see what happens with that, too.
Man, I mean, they get out all the JDR's magic fairy dust on that one, man, because it looked like it was past its prime this year with the Kirk Cousins trajectory. But who knows? But you're right. That is a good name. Thank you on the text line for adding that to the list. All right, let's take a time out here. More from Doug Pederson on the other side. And big congratulations going out to a member of the panel that we haven't gotten to yet. We'll explain when we return in a moment on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Have a group trip or company function soon? Mark Watson here with Hardball Creative. Get busy ordering the t-shirts and other swag you'll need. It's easy with Hardball.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners, financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Jaguars Today Thursday is hitched to Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro Jags Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projacksroofingfl.com.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Trent Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins DUI defense firm and Monahan Jewelers on 1010XL.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I am Beach's Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beach's Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota, but not for long. The final days of Toyotathon are here, and you don't want to miss financing as low as 0% on select new models. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. It's the final days of Toyotathon, so get to Arlington Toyota and save today. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Bo Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their end-of-year sale, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Mia here for Dream Finders Homes. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dream Finders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now is your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershome.com for more details.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jag head coach Doug Pederson just looks for quarterback Mac Jones to play the game tailored to his strengths.
He's not Trevor, so we can't ask him to be Trevor. We just want him to be Mac Jones, and so we'll tailor things, to his liking and to his strengths.
Peterson also commented on the improvement of defensive tackle Mason Smith.
Continues to improve each week, does some really good things out there, and that's what you want. That's what you player that we took, high in the draft.
Former Jag and Hall of Famer Tony Baselli wants the team to rethink the running attack.
I definitely think Doug needs to take a step back and look at their run game and what they do and how they do it. They need to look at the interior of the line. They need to get younger there.
That's your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguar update. I'm Sam Nelson.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mike DeRocco is powered by Lickety Split AC, Plumbing and Electric on 1010XL.
All right, so tell us, D-Rock, did Lickety Split Plumbing and Electric power your fantasy championship this year in Jaguars Today League number 2?
I'd like to thank Lickety Split for all of the input on my weekly lineup selections. Yes.
Excellent. I don't think I knew for sure that you had won that until you mentioned it today.
I was expecting rose petals and streamers and
no
poppers.
Tony and I are not in it anymore. We're not paying a whole lot of attention.
Geez.
Make it 3.
Yeah, well, we knew Denmark wasn't going to be in there.
I sucked in all those leagues.
Did you? I did too. I was terrible.
Yeah.
And I really was. I was it was a bad year for fantasy overall. I somewhat salvaged it. I won 3 out of 4 that I made it to the semifinals in. Would have won all 4 if I played Ricky Pearsall this week.
Yeah.
Man.
Lions defense cost me 1-0.
Oh, gosh. That was it's always the one that gets away that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
More so, I won 3.
I won a semifinal by 0.05 points in Jaguars Today.
Nice.
That was...
Was that the league that you won?
Yes.
And so
Jaguars
you went on.
Today number 2, yeah.
So stat correction didn't get you.
Did not.
0.05. That's pretty darn close there, my friend. Congratulations.
Every once in a while.
So, how you doing in the Breakfast Bowl?
Oh, I'm DAL, baby.
Yeah!
I'll be buying breakfast. That's what we decided. Whoever finishes DAL buys breakfast first
Correct.
week last year.
Right, and you could
year.
double up by losing this week and buying next week and to kick off next season. Would be great.
Correct. I could do that.
You could. Tony bought today. Thank you, Tony
I
Smith.
did. You're welcome.
Appreciate you very much for finishing last.
I will be riding the Detroit Lions defense to not finish not finish last this week.
All right, let's get to a little bit more from Doug Pederson here, and we'll get some thoughts from D-Rock on Doug Pederson's potential future. What is Doug and the team, I guess, trying to accomplish here in this last game of the season?
Well, obviously, you're trying to win the game, bottom line. So the key is to make sure that everybody stays locked in and focused on the task at hand, right? I mean, that's the most important thing. And then you want your team to prepare this week for that. I don't necessarily use it as developmental, for anybody. I think that you still go in and the guys that are healthy and can play. But again, if there's somebody that's dressing that is a younger player, you might want to get him in and see what he can do.
Seems like having your cake and eating it too a little bit there. I'm not going to use this for development, but if we're going to dress him, well, maybe let's find out what he can do. Which sounds like development, to me.
Look,
anyway.
Doug's, there have been a lot of meaningless games in Jaguars football history over the last decade or so. Let's just say it that way. Since I've been covering the team, covered a lot of. This might be the most meaningless game that I will cover nothing.
Why more so than any other year where they've been eliminated?
You know what I mean? It's weird. Like in 20, we knew that last game didn't matter, but there was the enthusiasm of, okay, they've locked up Trevor. So that was sort of a little bit of made that game feel like a little bit, are they going to snap the win streak? Or excuse me, are they going to snap the losing streak? What are they going to do here? So from that standpoint, that was a little bit more meaningful. But, last year was certainly meaningful. The year before was certainly meaningful. Some of those in 2013, you knew they were bad. 2014, you knew they were bad, but
Do we not know this team's bad, though?
We do now, yes.
Yeah.
But in 14, you had the quarterback, and that year was all about the quarterback getting some playing time and figuring it out. 15 was, hey, look, they're not good, but Blake's got a chance to set the passing record, and you got A-Rob going nuts and Hearns going nuts. 16, they had already fired Gus Bradley by the end of 16. So you already knew kind of where that was going. So there wasn't like today or this week where is the coach coming back? Is the GM coming back? There was none of that.
But wouldn't that make this meaningful if we don't know what the outcome is going to be?
No, because this game is going to play no bearing on whether those guys are back. If Schott is basing whether he brings those two guys back on this game, then that's a bigger problem, which, I mean, he's not. There's no way this one game is going to pay.
I don't think he should, but
right. I don't think he will. No.
What about closing the season with a pair of wins versus division opponents?
Sure. I mean, for the players, it's more meaningful.
I'm talking about like from Shad Khan's perspective.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure he would like to see that. That's great. That would be, 3 years in a row they've gone 4-2 in the division? Never done that before. So yeah, from that standpoint, for the players, I'm sure it's meaningful, but I'm talking from like the fans' perspective.
I hear what you're saying. Well, I think for some fans' perspective, and we debate this all the time, it's extremely meaningful.
This week, it's pretty easy
to not win.
Yeah,
right. Because right now you sit with the 5th pick in the draft. You're tied with Carolina, the Jets, Las Vegas, and Chicago at 4 wins. Okay. I don't know what any of these teams are going to do right now. I know Vegas has won their last couple, so I'm not saying all these teams have given up, but Chicago hasn't won since they beat the Jaguars.
Yeah.
In London.
In a year where they're talking about, I've heard some people talk as few as 6 guys with a true first-round grade in the draft. Like, I don't want to be picking 10th.
I agree.
In that year when, beating the Colts means what? That means way less to me than, all right, we're picking 5th. Right, like that. I feel okay.
I mean, I guess from that, I don't think about it that way.
They're not going to deal with it that way, right? No. Like that's all meaning from the outside that we're putting on the game. Like none of that is in the building.
It's meaning to me.
It's meaning to me too.
Really, I have a hard time just thinking about the draft now because look, we all know the draft's a crapshoot. We all know it. I mean, there's going to be guys picked in the top 5 that aren't any good. And there's going to be guys picked in the 3rd round that turn out to be Pro Bowlers and all pros.
Sure, but if you have more good players available to you, even if you're terrible at picking, doesn't that increase your odds of picking a good player?
Yeah, but the Jags didn't do that in 20. I mean, they passed on Jordan Jefferson, for goodness sake. I mean, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I got what you're saying, right? Yeah. But they had the chance to take him.
Correct.
Right? And, we're talking about, who were we talking about it with the other day about Larry Fitzgerald? I might have been me and Brian Sexton talking about that. Winning at the end of the season, had no chance to draft Larry Fitzgerald. They got, who they got? They got Reggie Williams. So that worked out great. So it does matter sometimes. You don't know. And yes, you still have to make the right decision. But when I hear people say, well, they got Brian Thomas Jr. at pick 23 or whatever, that just goes to show you, well, that's great.
Yeah.
If there is a Brian Thomas Jr. available to you when you pick 10th or
Go
whatever.
look at the first round of last year's draft and the way it's being talked about compared to this year's first round. Like, there is nobody. Like, that draft they were talking about, there might be 3 generational wide receivers in that draft last year, the way they were talking about. This year, they're not talking about a single generational player, right? And that doesn't mean they're going to be right. About that being the process.
Thing, yeah.
And, I can understand that side of it. But give me the range of where the true first-round grade guys are going to be available as opposed to outside of it. Beating the Colts means nothing to me. compared to, I get to pick 5th and I might get a first-round graded guy.
I'm not mad at anybody who has an opinion different than that.
Absolutely
because none
not.
of our opinions
matter.
ultimately impact what happens on the field.
And I won't be mad if they win on Sunday. I'll be like, okay.
I won't be mad,
Yeah.
right? Because I understand that that's their objective, and that's what
they
they're
should be
setting out
trying
to
to
do. I'm
do,
not going to be mad at them for doing that. I am going to not be – I'm going to be, when the draft rolls around, wishing we had the 4th or 5th pick rather than the 9th or 10th or 11th pick.
Good for them. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going through some quotes the other day, and I came across this one from Trent Baalke at the draft. Somebody asked him if they had re-signed Ridley, would they have drafted BTJ?
Okay.
And he was like, no, not. We wouldn't have taken a receiver at that point. So
Thank goodness.
Jags fans owe Calvin Ridley, what was it, $3 million? What do you want? He went three.
He got
took
three-
the extra
$3 million extra. Yep.
$3 million extra for jumping to Tennessee. They end up with BTJ.
It was fun.
Got the better end of that deal.
Yeah, no doubt. And you got still 2 more picks to come from that trade. It was fun to see because somebody had tweeted something at Calvin Ridley or whatever, and he responded. This was in the offseason about how he's going to come to Jacksonville and he's going to, score touchdowns and do all this stuff.
Celebration,
right, like what he was going to do as a member of the Titans, and to see everybody just go back at him was fantastic. Thank you.
He still had a pretty good year, though.
But,
Ridley.
the funny thing is, I mean, it worked out great, and we are happy that Brian Thomas Jr., we're ecstatic that we got Brian Thomas Jr., and in the fashion that we got him.
Yeah.
But if Trent Baalke had gotten his way, we would have had Calvin Ridley and would never have had Brian Thomas Jr. And then I would imagine Calvin Ridley would have had a so-so season here in Jacksonville because that's the way it has gone, for the most part. I don't think he's as good at this stage as Brian Thomas Jr. is. And then we would have been sitting here ruining the fact that, and by the way, a lot of us we wanted it.
Yeah, I don't know that we would have known what to compare it to, though.
Maybe not.
We knew that they didn't land, the receiver last year and getting him back, so they're likely going to go after another receiver at some point. If they had landed the receiver they wanted, I don't know what they wind up doing in the first round. I doubt that they're going to draft anyone else that has the kind of impact that Brian Thomas Jr. is having.
Well, let's say they took Troy Fautanu, right? The lineman, who I would have been fine with, as their selection. He went to Pittsburgh. I think he was injured a lot this year, but even if he played, would he have definitely pushed Brandon Sheriff to the bench this year? I mean, that's the position you were drafting him, would have been drafting him to fill.
Who knows?
You don't know.
I doubt you're signing Cleveland to an extension.
But if I don't know about that.
We'll see.
But
all those
they did
things
that before the draft.
Yeah, he's young. I think that they would have probably done that. And like you said, that the timing of that indicates that. But if Brian Thomas Jr. had gone somewhere else and went crazy, Trent Baalke's not going to win in this town, right? Right? It's just not. He's just not. But even for all the people, we're like, oh, you get Ridley done. Let's get this across the finish line. We all wanted it in the moment, right? And then especially because it was a division rival that took him. Oh, Baalke couldn't close the deal, right? Well, look what happened. Had Baalke closed the deal, you would have been mad at him in hindsight for that, I think, because Brian Thomas Jr. was going to be good no matter where he went, right? It didn't, to me, wasn't like he was playing with Pro Bowl level quarterback play this year. Just find a team that's willing to give him targets.
Are the ones you do not make.
It worked out great.
Reason.
One more from Doug Pederson. Can a win this week carry momentum into the offseason?
It definitely can. I think it just leaves that good taste, that feeling of winning. Especially now here we start a new year and have an opportunity, to do that. I think just gives you a little momentum. Gives you the hope that you want and that you need, and then you work on what you need to fix. So if we can do that, and plus we finished 4-2 in the division, if that's the case, But playing a good football team, running back, quarterback. I mean, defense is I think 6th in the NFL in takeaway. I mean, it's a good football team. So we gotta go and keep our minds right.
Among the teams that won in Week 18 last year, let's see. The Tennessee Titans beat the Jaguars.
Boom.
What did that mean for them?
Nothing.
The Giants won in Week 18 over the Rams. I'm sorry, they lost to the Rams by a point. What am I just had the. Oh no, that's Week 17. No, they did win in Week 18. They won last year. Who else did I just see that was?
Yeah.
I'm going backwards now. I'm scrolling too far. I'm scrolling in the wrong direction here.
These kind of questions are a little bit silly to me. Like, I know why they get asked, and I know exactly what the answer is going to be even as they're being asked. It's like, can it carry into the offseason? Well, it's a head coach. What else is he going to say at the podium except, yeah, we need to try to win this week, try to get some momentum, finish 4-2, and like all those things that it's like all of these meaningless things that you have to talk about having meaning for a couple of more days just so that you don't completely potentially lose whatever motivation the players currently have, right? Like there's no reason as a coach to risk any of that. So you get asked that question, you go, oh yeah, it means something.
That's right. That's fair.
Yeah.
But to the actual point of doesn't mean anything. Jets won in Week 18 last year.
The Raiders won.
Well, the Raiders won in Week 18. The Giants did win 27-10 over Philadelphia. What a bounce they had heading into the offseason.
Big Saints win 48-17 over the Falcons.
Yeah, well, at least
we all remember.
Take us back to Week 3 of this year's NFL season, and how we're being. In some circles on social media, people were excoriating the Jaguars for not signing a Clint Kubiak. Look at what Clint Kubiak has done with the New Orleans Saints. They had 2 great games to start the year. And, yes, injuries eventually decimated them, but before that happened, that great honeymoon period, we tend to be so in the moment on these things that happen.
No doubt.
Like, how did we not sign a Clint Kubiak here to get it done? Well,
I have not heard his name since then.
Since then, exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
They fell off the cliff after week 2.
But usually all those hot head coaching names get thrown up or thrown out. And haven't heard Joe Brady's name mentioned either.
I have heard Joe Brady's name mentioned. I
think it should.
Yeah, I've heard it even mentioned among people as prospective Jaguar interest. Yeah. It's speculating. So that is one I have seen a little bit of. All right, let's take a time out here. We'll come back. Let's get D-Rock's thoughts right now, projecting what might go down next week as a guy who is around that team on a mostly daily basis. We'll do that coming back. Hour 2 of Jaguars Today straight ahead. Happy New Year to all from 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Playoff teams limit their weaknesses. Offense, defense, and special teams all contribute.
All 3 phases come into play.
Listen for the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
Sometimes special teams can be fun.
On 1010XL.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour. 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 $7 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, visit one of the Florida Blue pop-up enrollment tents near you. They make the process easy and stress-free, with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Find a pop-up tent in the Rose parking lot on Beach Boulevard near Southside and at Night of Wonders at the Orange Park Mall. Here's a reminder for Florida Blue members. You can access Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations around town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. 3 Sanitas Medical Centers and 2 convenient Florida Blue pop-up enrollment sites combined for a winning team in Northeast Florida insurance coverage.
Ammon, you're always talking about how clean air is healthy air. I've had this cold for weeks. Can cleaning my air ducts actually help?
Well, Dad, I'm not a doctor, and let's be honest, you probably caught that cold from one of your grandkids. But I can tell you this, the cleaner your air, the better you'll feel.
Makes sense, but what do air ducts have to do with it?
Your ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're full of dust, allergens, and who knows what else, all that junk gets blown into the air you breathe, especially now that the heat's running. And the EPA says improving indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So you're telling me my vents are working harder than my immune system?
Exactly. That's why Zero Res is here. We're NADCA certified, and our truck mount system is the most powerful in the industry. Right now, we're even offering $100 off your total for January.
All right, sign me up. If it makes me feel better and keeps your mom off my back, I'm all in.
Good call, Dad.
Zero Res.
Spelled Florida backwards.
It's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
American Electrical is looking for bright minds and hard workers to help light up North Florida. The community continues to grow, and now you can grow your career with a company that will make sure you succeed through commitment. Take advantage of the Electrical Academy, dedicated to training select students. And the best news, it's free of charge. Log on to american-electrical.com to find out more. They're leading the way in electrical contractors on the First Coast, and you can be part of the team. American Electrical, powered by professionalism. Equal opportunity employer.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Loan Pronto. Following Wednesday's tragic attack in New Orleans, the All-State Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Notre Dame was moved to today. Since that game is set to kick off at 4 p.m., the start time for the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl between Ole Miss and Duke has been pushed back. The Gator Bowl will now start at 8 p.m. JU Dolphins men's basketball team looks to pull above 500 when they face Lipscomb at home this evening. Tip-off is at 7. Hear the game live on 1010XL AM. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can secure their 4th straight division title on Sunday by beating NFC South rival New Orleans at home. Quarterback Baker Mayfield looks forward to the home game.
You always want to be able to play in front of your crowd, just the energy, get them involved early, especially when it's a rivalry game in division.
That was your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:01, it's 51 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mike DeRocco is powered by Lickety Split AC, Plumbing and Electric on 1010XL.
All right, D-Rock in the house from ESPN. Happy New Year, everybody. First show of Jaguars today for the 2025 calendar year. One more game to go for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Root how you see fit for the outcome that you want. that you think best benefits the organization in the short or long term. That's really up to you. D-Rock, then comes the real season, the off season for the that is Jaguar season. More often than not, unfortunately, right? I mean, we all want them to make the real postseason, but the postseason for us is watching as to whether we're going to get a new coach and or general manager, right? So I know you don't know the mind of Shad Khan. I don't expect you to. I'm asking you as a guy who's around the team a lot. What are you looking at?
That was
the kicker.
Talking to the kicker before the kick. Sorry.
And he doinked it. That's all right.
We don't have time for my rant on that.
We do, actually. But tell us right now where your mind is at as to what's going to go down with Shad Khan and his decision-making on this front.
Yeah, and again, like you said, nobody knows what Shad is thinking.
We're not going to lambaste you if you're wrong.
Right.
I'm asking
that's
for
fine.
your honest opinion.
I just know that there are my feeling, my thinking is that there's going to be change at both head coach and general manager. That's what my gut tells me. But again, like I've told you guys before, don't be surprised if there's no changes.
Do you think it's one or the other? Do you think it's clean sweep or
no? I don't necessarily think it's one or the other. I think there's a chance that he could keep one.
And at that one, I mean, wouldn't it overwhelmingly be likely to be the coach at this point? Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I would lean. Yes.
I know that's the public sentiment. If you're going to get rid of one guy, it's the GM over the head coach. I'm not saying that the public sentiment wouldn't be to choose to get rid of both. But if it were a choice between one or the other, there's a lot more Baalke must go sentiment.
I get the sense that might be the way it would go, but also it depends on what kind of demand Shad puts on Doug. If he says, look, okay, I like you. I've determined that the bulk of the blame for this season belongs to the GM, but I want you to call plays, or you've got to change. I need some
think
staff
if Doug
changes.
Pederson, right, but if Doug Pederson, if the question was, you can keep your job, but you have to call plays, don't you think he'd say, okay, I'll call plays? What is your sense? Do you think Doug Pederson wants to be back as the head coach of the Jags? So do I.
Yes.
Okay.
But Doug is convinced and believes and has been adamant that the play calling is not the reason for their offensive issues. It's not, let me rephrase that. It's not at the top of the reason. It's way down at the bottom. And to be honest with you, when you're dealing with, you're with your backup quarterback, all you've got is Brian Thomas Jr. on offense. It's tough. It's tough.
That is one of the major reasons to me that I'm skeptical if I'm Shad Khan, because here's something you could have controlled all year. The last 5 weeks, Brian Thomas Jr.'s got 10 or more targets.
Right.
None before that. And I get it. You had other guys there, but it's not like Christian Kirk was lighting the world on fire when he was healthy, right? Evan Ingram was out for a good stretch of games early on in the season. Gabe Davis never stepped up for this football team.
Correct.
It was evident from the jump that Brian Thomas Jr., whatever you thought going into week one, it was quickly evident that this guy needed the football in his hands.
He needed more than what he was getting.
And it took them 2/3 of the season.
Correct.
To implement that on the basis that we've seen.
Yes, that's a decision
recently.
Other than play calling. Play calling to me is the actual plays in the game and all that stupid stuff.
Okay, but that's
goes
still
with it.
offensive philosophy,
Correct.
whatever
That's
you want to call it.
That's a different conversation, yes. But here, Doug and Press are connected at the hip. They're connected mentally. Every play call that's on that sheet that they're looking at has been agreed upon the week before. It's a play call that Doug has approved. He's on the headsets. He can veto any play call, and he's listening to the play calls in his head. In between plays, he and Press Taylor are talking about play calls. So in his mind, none of the play calls, it's not Press's fault. If the play's not working, it's not Press's fault. It's
I understand
our
that.
fault.
We can understand that
So I think
objectively.
if Shad were to say to him, you have to go back to calling plays, and Press is, I don't want to say out, then I think he says no, thank you.
Well, it's clear that Shad Khan wants him to call plays, even though he didn't state his name. He said, "I've got a preference. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll let Doug decide."
Make the call on his
But
own.
if it was, "Hey, my preference is for Press Taylor to call plays," that'd be the easy thing to go along with what Doug's been allowed.
I
to
do
happen.
think there has to be change defensively.
Let me ask you, who? Let me finish this thought, then we'll get to that because that's a good point. Just that whether or not objectively it would make a difference, the owner feels like it would make a difference.
He's the one who writes the checks.
Right. So I could absolutely see that being part of the conversation. How adamant Doug Pederson would be in saying, no, I'm coaching it my way is.
I think the one thing Shad wants to hear from Doug is, why did it go wrong? And what is your plan for fixing it? With the latter being the most important. So if Doug doesn't have a plan in place or a plan to put in place to fix it that satisfies Shad, then I think Shad would make the move.
Then my next question would be, he goes, all right, here's the plan to fix it. Why didn't you already do that? If you got a plan to fix it.
That's a legitimate question.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are other issues other than Doug Pederson on that team.
Well, I understand, but
Right.
like you can point to personnel. Hey, we need more here, there, wherever. I get some of that, but in terms of just like, what are you going to do to get the best out of Trevor Lawrence, and why haven't you done it already? Or if you have done it,
a fantastic question that has to be asked and answered.
That's the number one question,
right?
Isn't it? I mean, how are we going to maximize the quarterback that we're getting ready to pay $275 million to?
Correct, and he was not hurt early in the season. Unless they were hiding something, which I don't think they were. And he wasn't playing great early in the season.
Correct.
Either. But then again, he looked pretty good 3 quarters of that opener, as did the whole team. And then fumble, long play for a touchdown, and a 17-point lead is now 3, and the whole sideline is just shell-shocked, and I don't know that they ever recovered from that.
Right, but that in itself
is a problem.
A problem, right. The lack of resilience that you're still winning. Even after Tyree, you were still in the lead.
Yeah, you weren't down by 3.
No,
Yes.
you were winning. So, all right, to get to the defense, it's been horrible, right?
Correct.
Carolina has saved them this week from being the 32nd ranked defense.
Correct.
Okay, but been terrible. They just fired a defensive staff last year. There is a feeling in Jaguar fandom that Ryan Nielsen is a Baalke hire imposed on Doug Pederson. Fair or not? You tell us.
No. Baalke was in on the interviews for sure, but that was a Doug hire. Doug has accepted full responsibility for hiring Ryan Pederson.
Ryan Nielsen.
Too many damn names.
Too many Pedersons.
Rick Nielsen or
Pederson.
Ryan Nielsen, whatever they're calling him these days.
Peterman.
Yes. Urban Miller. I don't know. Yes, Doug has accepted full responsibility for that hire.
All right. You fired one staff.
Yeah.
That was bad, but not this bad.
Right.
So let's say you fire the DC here.
Hard time finding a guy to come be your defensive coordinator when you're on the last year of your contract as a head coach.
When you're on the last year of your contract and the last 2 defensive coordinators lasted a combined 3 years.
Right. So I think if that were the case, then I think the logical thing to do would be probably promote maybe Chris Richard to defensive coordinator. But you have to make it clear that rotation stuff, that's no, we're not doing that
Well,
anymore.
he's gotten away from it in the last month. But again, there's something that took 2/3 to 3/4 of the season to figure out.
They played better defensively the last month, give or take a little bit. Look, they were giving up well over 400 yards a game. They've shaved some of that off.
No,
Look,
I'm agreeing with you.
Look.
The look on my face wasn't like, come on, they haven't played better. No,
They can't get a damn turnover
when your
to save
better
their
players
soul,
play
but-
more, you're
Right.
going to have somewhat better results.
Right. And look, there are some personnel issues that are glaringly obvious on this team that have to be addressed this offseason. 90% of them are on defense. Safety play has got to be better. Like, you're not bringing Cisco back. You've got to find another safety. Devin Lloyd consistently gets lost in pass coverage.
Do you need to find 2 safeties?
I think if Dewey's there, you can go with Dewey and play with Dewey. And I think they believe that Antonio Johnson could improve more as he gets more experience. Devin Lloyd consistently gets lost in pass coverage, so that's got to be addressed. You have to find somebody that's a lot more disciplined in there in the middle, and the interior of that defensive line has to get better. Looks like Mason Smith's making a move. Jordan Jefferson looks like he might be a guy they can rely on. So you've got to fix those personnel issues in order for this defense to get better, regardless of who's calling it.
How about just as well playing guys where they're naturally suited to play?
There is that.
Looking
you
at
could ask about
not only Armstead but Foye Oluokun.
Right, those are the two big ones.
Yes,
there was no reason to move Foye. None.
Unless you want to put your stamp on this defense.
Well, okay.
I'm just, I'm not saying that's legit. I'm just trying to.
There was also
imagine there had to be some reason that Ryan Nielsen thought it was a good idea.
I'm not sure. I would tell Josh and Trayvon, you know that weight y'all gained for last year, like just shed it.
Yeah,
drop that. You guys were fine. Like, does 20 pounds make a difference for Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker physically? They seemed to stand up against the run pretty well last year.
Yeah, I hear you.
Trayvon Walker's killing guys regardless of if he's 20 pounds heavier or lighter.
But I feel like it's more impacted Josh Hines-Allen than it has Trayvon. Like, I feel like Trayvon can carry it.
Agree. Trayvon could probably carry another 40 pounds.
That's
he's
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's unbelievable.
Right. So I don't need him to. I don't think it's like I haven't said, oh, he's slower or whatever. I don't know. I mean, the results haven't been as good for Josh Hines-Allen. But if you look like, different metrics out there, some people have him in top 10 in pressure.
Yeah, he's always been in that level of pressures. He didn't finish as much his first 3 years. Year 4, I guess, he finishes, right? Or 4th, 5th, whatever it was. Last year, he finished much more than he did before. And this year, he's not finished as much.
Note, I just put that under a big metrics umbrella, and I did not, mention any site, not ESPN stats and info. So you're welcome.
Well, it's now ESPN research, just so you know.
That's why I didn't say it.
For future references.
When did that change?
A month ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't get the internal memo, so I was not.
Well, I'm sorry.
I was not aware.
Well, clearly you're on the outs at ESPN.
Right,
clearly you're on the outs.
So that's why I didn't get the internal memo.
Exactly.
All right, let's come back. It's our final breakfast bowl of the year, and we'll tell you where things stand. And does anybody have a chance to catch Tony Smith in Week 18? That's coming up next. Your question of the day presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Asking you, in light of Logan Cook and Ross Matisic being named Pro Bowlers, Brian Thomas Jr., by the way, was a first alternate, but in light of those guys actually being named Pro Bowlers on the first day the Pro Bowl team has been unveiled, who do you think will make it from the Jags next season? That's our question of the day. We'll discuss that going forward as well. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Pick the winners and be a winner.
Who's the winner?
Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park.
I said, who's the winner?
Pick the worst. You'll still win some pizza. It's called the Weekly Pick'em at 1010XL.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwood, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling, with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
You know, many plumbers won't quote prices over the phone and instead charge a service fee for an in-home estimate. Of course, because they know once they're in your home, you're probably not going to send them away. But Roland Reach Plumbing is different. Roland will give you a price quote over the phone. And there's never a trip charge or service fee for an estimate. So if you've got a leak and can't wait a week and don't like paying unnecessary fees, call on Roland Reach Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Start the new year with a fresh look for your home. It's the Renewal by Andersen New Year's sales event. For a limited time, save 20% off on our energy-efficient windows and patio doors designed to keep your home comfortable year-round and your energy bills down. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation. But hurry, the special New Year's offer won't last. License number CGC 1527613.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I Am Beaches Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Mia O'Brien.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
On Helmets and Heels, noon to 2.
I swear to you, I know her.
Then there's the 1010XL video and social media channels.
I would know her voice anywhere.
All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
On 1010XL.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Listen, I'm all about a sure thing. I like putting my money down knowing I'm going to win, and that's exactly what Awaken 180 was for me, a sure bet. I dropped 25 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, the results speak for themselves. Now imagine this. You start Awaken 180 now, and when February rolls around, you've already lost 20 pounds. Or maybe you're like Matt Hayes, down 40 pounds by March. And don't even get me started on Hacker. Dude's lost over 100 pounds. Life-changing results, and I got to see it firsthand. Awaken 180 isn't some gimmick. You eat, you're never starving, and the weight just comes off fast. No guesswork, no crash diets, just a plan that works. And the best part, it's built to last thanks to free support for life. Don't wait for another failed resolution. Start your new year with the program that is the sure bet. Visit awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Make sure this year is the year you win big with Awaken 180.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and beautiful people all across the world. Let's get ready for the Breakfast Bowl Challenge!
Mike DeRocco is powered by Lickety Split AC, Plumbing and Electric on 1010XL.
All right, kicking off the new year with D-Rock in the house as we have come to the finale of the Breakfast Bowl 2024/2025 or dash 2025. Tony, how did it go down last week?
Last week, Dylan took down the week with a total of 113.85. That's a big monster week. Yeah, from Dempsey, second, 73.45. D-Rock, third, 65.5. And I bought breakfast this morning with 57.75.
Yeah, and this happened, and it's going to be the one that got away, and I will think about this whenever I think about this year's Breakfast Bowl. Last week, what we did was we did a draft off the air, and we made a rule that you can replace any one of your players if you wanted to on Friday. All right, so I stupidly drafted Josh Jacobs. Hadn't done it all year. A guy had already taken. So normally, I'd be stuck with a big fat zero for him, but because I knew I could replace him. And so we finished the draft. I said, it's all right. I literally said it out loud. I know Dylan heard me. I said, I've got T. Higgins in my back pocket for this week. Then he was questionable on Friday. And I'm like, I'm not going to switch him to a zero. I put in Alexander Madison. What a brave move that was. Woo. Bravely stupid.
How'd that work out for you?
I would have picked up like 35 more points, and right now I trail Tony by about 40 points. Something like that.
About 25.
Is it 25?
Yeah.
All right, so I would probably be in first place right now if I just played T. Higgins last week, but I didn't. And that's my own dumb fault. So, draft order for the final Breakfast Bowl draft of the season is Tony Smith, Mike DiRocco, myself, and Dylan Denmark. Drafting, as always, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. Can't take anybody you've taken already this year. You can't take anyone that anyone else drafts this week. And obviously navigating the minefield of who is going to play and who's not going to play.
Yeah.
Tony, who are you going with?
This is one I've been debating all week, but given, your conversation about a guy last week that's like the injury report kind of scared you off of it. The injury report scared me off the guy that I thought I was going to take all week. I'll go Russell Wilson.
Okay. I want to know who it was that
you might hear the name in a moment.
You thought you were taking all week. And maybe I need to triple check the injury report, I think. D-Rock, who you got?
Jamison Williams, please.
I liked him a bunch this week. Thought I might get him. Well, let's do a quick Google search. I wouldn't do that, though, while we're on the clock as I stall, as I want to see if this is, in fact, the player.
It's not a player that's available to you.
It's not? Okay, good. Woo! All right. Give me Kenneth Gainwell, please.
I thought about him.
No Saquon.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I'm going with Philadelphia. All right, Dylan, back-to-backers.
I'm going to go tight end Chig Nkonkwo.
Chig.
Golly, man, I don't like anybody. Like, nobody.
He doesn't get to go with all the Bucks this week.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Nope.
Yep.
He was on the list.
Right? I mean, got to get guys that are playing for something here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking a guy who's playing for money. Okay. Major incentives for Zach Ertz in his contract if he hits some statistical milestones this week. Had a big game last week. I'm hoping he plays. Look, Washington is in the playoffs, but they could still have their seating somewhat adjusted between themselves and Green Bay.
Those are rough spots to figure out what to do this
It is, and whatever. What am I going to do?
Tight end is tight end.
I got to
right?
play it. I got to roll the dice here, and Chig was on my list too. All right, back to you, D-Rock.
Jonathan Taylor.
That's a good one. I used him last week. I'm even putting aside the Jaguar aspect of it. That's just a good overall selection right there. So D-Rock cements himself as the villain. He's like, I got last place locked up. Watch this.
Yes,
all right?
I'm taking all the Colts.
I got Pittman. All right. I don't want to throw names out there that we haven't drafted yet. I don't think the rest of us are bad people, so I don't think that's a concern. Tony, who you got?
I will go Adam Thielen. And Michael Carter.
Okay. All right, D-Rock, back to you. Michael Carter's likely starting for Arizona this
Lad
week.
McConkey.
Okay.
He was on my list.
He was on my list, too. Yes, he was. All right.
I have heard the Chargers are one of those teams that are thinking about shutting it down this week. Like, I legit saw that. Like, they may be no one playing this week, so good luck with that.
Although they, to me, Pittsburgh and the Chargers are tied.
I know it.
Who would you rather play? Like, especially if Pittsburgh loses. Now, Pittsburgh wins on Saturday, then the Chargers are locked into, I think, the 6. Is it the 6 or the... Yeah, the
one
6
of those
it
spots,
would be,
yeah,
right?
They can't move.
And because in the opening week, the 5 seed gets to play Houston instead of playing the Ravens, is what it looks like right now. I think that's a lot of incentive. Anyway, all right.
Breathe.
I'm going to go with a guy who doesn't always come through, but he does have a lot to play for. I'm going Cortland Sutton.
I knew it.
On the list. Yep.
Cortland Sutton, please.
He's got a nice incentive to play for, too.
Double incentivized.
He gets like 86 yards, I think it is. I can't remember.
And Breakfast Bowl glory.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's. That's on top of his mind.
Is that what that is?
Why not? Dylan. Back-to-back picks.
Aaron Jones. I know he's questionable.
Yeah.
But he's going to tough it out.
He says he's going to play, but...
I talked to him the other day. And Marvin Harrison Jr., a positive momentum going into next offseason. He's going to have a big game.
Love it. Love it.
Yep. For the rookie.
I'm torn right now.
Why?
I'm thinking about getting crazy. I'm thinking about getting real crazy here.
Take Joe Flacco. Go ahead.
They say that I'm crazy.
Not going to do that.
But I know I'm not crazy.
Mac Jones.
No.
Yep. What? He would have been 5th on my list. Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Mac 10.
Wait do I tell you who the other one I almost went with was? Mac Jones,
I might take
quarterback. Let's go, Big Mac.
All righty. Give me Pat Freiermuth.
If I lose, Mac Jones needs to find a new job. So you know.
Yeah.
Mac. It's been laid out there for you. Tony got back-to-backers
Yeah.
here.
Mark Andrews and Brian Thomas Jr.
All right. Well, good. I get at least some of Tony's points this week. I need to make up points, but I don't have an issue with that. D-Rock, need your quarterback here.
Yeah, Sam Darnold against that bad Lions defense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and this week I will go with T. Higgins in the flex. At least they still have something to play for here.
Yeah.
Tougher matchup for sure. But Dylan, quarterback.
Joshua Dobbs.
That was the other one.
Knew it.
That was the other one. That was the other one. I almost went with him, but I figured, what the hell, man? I need a little karma. Mac Jones.
No, the injury one that I was talking about early, and it was just me and D-Rock that could do it. It was Bucky Irving.
Oh,
we
I
haven't
had him
used
on
him
my
all
list
year,
too,
and
yeah.
he showed up on the injury report yesterday. I am very confident he's going to play this week, but not confident enough to risk.
Right.
You know, like I know I'm in a week where if I score 75 this week, I'm going to win the Breakfast Bowl. Like, that's kind of the way I look at it. I'm like, I can't.
You saying I can't score 100?
I'm saying that you can, but you'd have to score 100 to beat me.
Yeah.
If I score 75, so I'm playing for the. It's
Playing
like I'm
the
not going
odds.
to risk the zero.
Playing the odds.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I do remember when I took Bucky Irving, I was fortunate. He was the number 1 running back in fantasy that week.
Yeah.
So there are a few, like
if he's going this week, I think he's like a top 5 to 7 play.
I think I got huge weeks out of Puka and Cooper Kupp, and nobody's getting a huge week out of Cooper Kupp anymore.
No.
It looks like. All right, here's what we got. Locked in, final week. Russell Wilson for Tony, Michael Carter, Adam Thielen, Mark Andrews, and Brian Thomas Jr. D-Rock going Sam Darnold, Jonathan Taylor, Jamison Williams, Pat Freiermuth, and Ladd McConkey. I will go Mac Jones, McCorkle, Kenneth Gainwell, Cortland Sutton, Zach Ertz, and T. Higgins. And Dylan's going to go with Joshua Dobbs, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, Chigakonkwo, and Marvin Harrison Jr. D-Rock,
Yo.
You're getting ready to go talk to the coordinators? Is
Yeah,
that what
we're
you're
going to
doing?
get Heath Farwell today, too.
Oh, very nice.
In the wake of 2 of his guys making the Pro Bowl.
Heath Farwell feels pretty good about himself, probably.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. Really, really like him a lot. He's funny.
I think
great to
special
talk
teams
to.
did fairly well overall this year. Coverage was good, right? I can't remember many big returns they've given up, that's for sure.
Didn't make as many plays in the return game as we thought they might make because with Devin Duvernay. But,
Yeah.
You know, he was hurt for a little bit, but
And the way the kickoff returns went this year, at least on that aspect of it, there weren't that many kickoff returns for touchdowns this year. You know,
The
so
Giants had one against the Colts last week.
they did.
And Cam Little's been phenomenal.
Oh, no doubt. He really has. A good job, Heath Farwell, let's say. D-Rock, your prediction, what do you think? Will the Jags beat the Colts this week?
Yeah, because I kind of think like you that it's kind of a little bit of disarray up there.
Deflation
and it's
just
like,
getting knocked out.
Yeah, and you know all the stuff that's going on over there. They don't know which quarterback's playing, so I think they're going to. It was dependent on what AR does today in practice, right? Is that when they were going to announce something?
Yeah, but he's got like a disc issue. They're saying now, not just back spasms.
It changes every week. It's like back spasms. I couldn't even walk on Tuesday. I'm crawling around my house. Well, then call an ambulance. If you're crawling around your house, call somebody at the facility. Hey, guys, I can't get up off the floor. Kind of thing. So I think the
Jags led by 4 Mac Jones touchdowns to players not named Brian Thomas Jr. Is that what we're predicting here?
4 touchdown tosses to
Brenton Strange.
3 to Brenton Strange
/ Parker Washington.
Because I had Brenton Strange last week in fantasy.
And maybe
Duvernay
as an oddball score.
Yeah, why not?
I won a championship with Brenton Strange in the lineup this week.
Nice. Good for you.
I'm happy
How?
about
He had
that.
0 points.
He did. Because I had Jaden Daniels, Mike Evans, Bijan Robinson, Jerry Jeudy, and one other guy and Kittle. And those 5 were over 100.
Yeah.
And the other 5 were about 50.
Yeah, I had Brenton Strange. Got no points.
All right. D-Rock, we love you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
We'll see you
guys.
next week. And maybe we'll have some news to talk about. At that
Maybe.
point. All right, brother. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good week. There he goes. Mike DeRocco. Check him out at ESPN DeRocco on social media. That ends his time with us today as he's going off to talk to Heath Farwell and company. We'll come back another segment. If you're on the line, we can get you on the other side. We'll take a look at today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day as well. People got a good look at D-Rock's backpack right there, by the way. Do you need a new one? Because you need a new one? You good on the backpack? Is it holding up? You're good? All right, just checking. No, I'm not. I don't have another one, but I could get you another one if you wanted another one. All right. I didn't say it would be free. All right. There goes Mike DeRocco. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, contact Florida First Insurance Group on University Boulevard, an award-winning Florida Blue agency well known for providing superior service. Theo Mitchelson and his team at Florida First make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Contact Theo Mitchelson and the Florida First Insurance Group today and let your health be their priority. And a reminder for Florida Blue members, visit Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations in town offering primary care, walk-in services, and on-site pharmacy and mental health support. SANITAS Medical Center. Florida First Insurance Group and Sanitas Medical Center. A winning team in Northeast Florida.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club is an attractive destination for golfers all over the Southeast. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that will test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time at hiddenhillsgc.com.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Joe C. for Blossman Gas. They've been providing hometown service in the comforts of propane to home and businesses since 1951. Imagine movie night spent around glowing gas fireplace logs, cookouts in the backyard with your propane grill, or laundry done faster with your gas dryer. Blossman has a wide variety of gas appliances to fit your needs. Propane delivery, gas appliances, and a full-service team. Blossman Gas is your local company for everything propane. Blossman Gas, log on, blossmangas.com, and check out the Blossman difference.
The Florida Forum welcomes New York Times bestselling author Deepak Chopra, moderated by Shad Khan, January 15th. funds raised for a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wolfson Children's Hospital. To get your tickets, call 202-2886 or click thefloridaforum.com.
David Garrard could really spin it on the field.
Garrard fires.
Now he's spinning stories on Jaguars Today.
Okay, yeah.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com. Mondays, 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Or how about just sending one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it all.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. With more than 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, is available to play in more than 40 states, including Florida. Join now, because this holiday season, PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code JAX and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code JAX on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, man. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Doug Pederson, the Jag head coach, says Mac Jones has been a quality backup quarterback.
He's done a nice job there, and that's what you want from your backup, and he's exceeded that and done a good job.
Former Jag and Hall of Famer Tony Baselli shared insight on why he thinks running the ball is so important.
I come in from the other side. If you can control the line of scrimmage and run the ball, you're going to put that defense in a bind, play action pass, and that's where you're going to get your big plays in the pass game.
Former Jag running back Fred Taylor is a Hall of Fame finalist. Current running back Travis Etienne Jr. weighed in on Fred making it to the Hall of Fame.
I really didn't know much about Fred until I got to Jacksonville and just watching his highlights. Fred was way before his time. I feel like if Fred was paid today, because he's a very big guy. Right?
At your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguar update, I'm Sam Nelson.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, final few minutes of the program today. We'll go around the league with Tony Smith coming up in a minute. We'll answer today's question of the day from our own perspective as to which Jaguars are likely to make a Pro Bowl next year. Maybe not likely. Who do you think, though, will get the nod? After Logan Cook and Ross Matisic were named Pro Bowlers today. Let's go to Ed in Arlington. It's been hanging on patiently. At least we hope it's been patient. Ed, Happy New Year. What's on your mind?
Hey, Happy New Year, Mike, Tony. Hey, I just got a question. So we all pretty much agree Trent should be gone. And part of that is because we kind of think he has this, call it toxic workplace environment. But I was trying to think of any actual evidence, unnamed sources, stuff like this that's come out. And the only thing I remember was when the defensive coaching staff last year left and was like, hey, solutions are leaving, problems are staying. But is that something that just like us and the fans, the media have kind of put on, or is there really something there that I just couldn't think of it? Does that make sense?
No, I think that's a really fair question, Ed, because I think people act like they're Baalke historians more than they are. Like, people will say, oh, he had these issues in San Francisco, right? Couldn't get along with Harbaugh. Well, Harbaugh's not an easy guy to get along with,
no,
right? By reputation. I'm not saying Baalke is. I mean, that is the whispers you hear, that he does have help create a toxic workplace environment. Might be too strong, but he is trying to position himself to come out smelling like a rose, even if the rest of the ship goes down, right? Like he's
not
the
classic CYA guy.
Yes, and so I think one example you might point to is, again, we haven't ever heard on the record who told Shad Khan that this was the best roster ever assembled in Jaguar history. We do know that Doug Pederson has denied saying that. Mm-hmm. Who else would have said that? And by saying that, you're saying, well, I've done my job.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they do their jobs, right? And I want a GM and a head coach that are locked in. Their fates are locked together. Everyone has to be pulling in the same direction. But yes, in terms of specific examples of what he's doing around the office. Now, I actually have heard a few things that lead me to believe, look, who am I to talk, right? When people talk about thin-skinned people, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you. People say a lot about me, and it'd be true, and that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm not running your favorite football team,
right?
We're not. You can turn on the radio and listen or not listen for free. There's a lot of difference between the investment you make in the franchise. Not everybody is going to get along with everybody in a perfect fashion, but I can't cite you chapter and verse of, people. I think people project like Tony, okay, Mason Smith's not playing. That's because there's a power play between Doug Pederson and Trent Baalke, and Doug is trying to show up Trent.
And once you hear it somewhere, then that's
it gets repeated as gospel, and then Mason Smith comes out and goes, I didn't really know how to be a pro. I wasn't doing all the right things. And you're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense then. And I've been told that both of them, Baalke and Pederson, were 100% in agreement on Mason Smith not playing during that stretch of the season. So, and whether we think that he should have been playing or not,
regardless of how I feel about Trent Baalke or Doug Pederson, it makes a whole lot more sense that Mason wasn't playing because he wasn't doing what he needed to do to play. Like, from an NFL perspective, that makes way more sense.
Right. Then if Doug Pederson thinks, oh, this guy is a valuable asset, but I'm not going to play him because he was taken by Baalke, well, so is everybody else. I mean, so is every free agent, every draft pick. You're playing BTJ, right? Now, you can argue maybe you should have got more early, but you get the idea. Anyway, Ed, Happy New Year. We're going to come to a resolution one way or the other pretty soon. Let's hope, and we can then discuss what did happen as opposed to what we want to have happen. Let's go around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Detroit linebacker Alex Anzalone, who's been out since Week 9 due to an arm injury, has been designated to return from the team's IR. He was limited in practice on Wednesday, so you may see him on Sunday night. Cleveland quarterbacks Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Jameis Winston were both limited in practice on Wednesday. Green Bay corner Jair Alexander got his knee scoped for a PCL injury, will likely miss the rest of the season. According to Ian Rappaport, Arizona has placed running back James Conner runner on IR. Carolina running back Miles Sanders was a full participant in practice on Wednesday after being designated to return from injured reserve. Ezekiel Elliott and Yannick Ngakoue both cleared waivers. They are now free agents. And Philadelphia has announced that running back Saquon Barkley will not be playing in Week 18 to go after the all-time rushing record.
Somebody should take Kenneth Gainwell in the Breakfast Bowl. Let's go, Kenneth. All right. Thank you, Tony. Here's today's question of the day presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate with Matisic and Cook being named Pro Bowlers. Who do you think will make it for the Jags next year? Who you got, Dylan Denmark of the West Side Denmarks?
Year, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be the easy one. But other than that, I've got a feeling like one of the D linemen is going to make it. If I had to guess, I'd probably say Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon. Okay.
Yeah.
So BTJ, Trayvon, and maybe the specialists again.
Yeah, the specialist. I mean, if you made it back-to-back years, it's probably going to be the same one next year, unless something drastically happens.
Right. I hear, like, once I feel that, too. Like, Ross Matisic has put himself now in the position of, I don't know how many Jaguar fans are voting. I'm sure everyone who votes for the Pro Bowl is voting for Matisic if you're a Jacksonville fan. But outside of Jacksonville, nobody even knows who the hell the long snapper in Jacksonville is, except, D-Rock's point when we were talking about this off the air this morning is the players around the league that are voting on this know who gets the job done. Ross Matisic made 2 tackles this year. So it's like, how do you get recognized for being the best long snapper? I'm not sure, but once you're there, unless you have a couple of awful big moments that are going to detract from you, why wouldn't you make it again? Who you got, Tone?
I think it's a similar list. I think the specialist being in that hopper already is a big deal. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is right on the edge of it this year, so I certainly think that he's a strong candidate for it next year. And I would pick Josh Hines-Allen as the defensive lineman for me because that's the one everyone knows. That's why he's 5th, right? As an alternate this year. It's not because he's having a fantastic year. It's because everyone knows who Josh Hines-Allen is. Mm-hmm. And if he has a double-digit sack season next year, then I would expect that he's going to be a Pro Bowler again for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Beyond that, it's hard to pick one. I think Trevor has a chance to be one, but the quarterback group in the AFC is so loaded.
Yeah, how elite does he have to be to make the Pro Bowl?
He'd have to have a monster year. I think he's capable of it, but he wouldn't be one that I would pick to do it.
I'd be shocked if Trevor made the Pro Bowl, right? Like, I'm not talking about, this guy pulls his name out, this guy pulls his name out, you get named as the 3rd or 4th alternate or whatever. We're talking about getting named to the Pro Bowl.
That's how he went when he went.
Right. Foye, look, what more could Foye have done the last few years and never got that recognition? So I don't think it'll be that. For me, it's just BTJ. Plus, whatever specialists get in. Yeah. It's not even Josh Hines-Allen. I still think there are enough. You still got Max Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, off the top of my head, just, in the AFC alone, that if they're putting up respectable numbers or numbers in the Josh Hines-Allen range, they've got a lot of equity built up with people who vote for the Pro Bowl. So I will say Brian Thomas Jr. should have been in this year. Again, put his numbers up against Zay Flowers. Well, Zay Flowers on a playoff team. All right, then put his numbers up against Jerry Jeudy. And explain to me, and both those guys scored 4 touchdowns each this year. Comparable yardage, 4 touchdowns. We got 10. He's a rookie. He has now arrived, and people are going to be aware of him. And if the Jaguars then come out next year, Tony, and hear me out, target him heavily early in the season, then maybe those numbers, maybe we get that 1,500 yard receiving season out of Brian Thomas Jr., and he'll be undeniable at that point. Knock on wood, no sophomore slump for you there, BTJ. So, all right, tomorrow, Tom McManus will be in. We'll have our final confidence picks go round of the season. We'll let you know if we think the Jags are going to beat the Indianapolis Colts, and whether or not they should. They're going to think they should. Do we think they should? Well, we'll debate that. All right, that's coming up tomorrow. Happy New Year to everybody. Be safe. Be joyful. I'll try to be more of the latter this year. No promises. I'm pretty much who I am at this point in time. By the way, here's a New Year's resolution for you. Come up with a good name, nickname for Dylan Denmark that he likes. And maybe, if
that he doesn't have to explain with too much difficulty from time to time.
Pockets was a little cumbersome, so we've dropped it officially. Nobody other than referencing that we're not calling him that anymore. Nobody slipped up today. So it's a quarter in the swear jar if you do this year. Just be aware of that. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, and Mike DeRocco, I'm Mike Dempsey. Tommy McManus in with us tomorrow as we wrap up the week on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5.